Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's another day, so we've got another starter deck upgrade to take a look at. And today, we're taking a look at a graveyard-centric Golgari deck. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list and see what we can do about it. Okay, so this is the baseline deck. First thing that you'll notice is that it has a pretty solid graveyard like recursion theme. It's got a couple bits of removal. You got Vanquish the Weak, Go for the Throat, Overwhelming Remorse. So some things that are kind of out of place. Like you take a look at this right here. Vanquish the Weak. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less. Why would I pay 3 for that when this is already in the deck that allows me to kill almost anything? Like, there's no point in running this in the same deck that has this already. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Aside from that, we have Glissa, Sunslayer. We got Skyfisher Spider. We got Sauron. But we're playing standards. So this is going to have to go. That'll be the first thing out. Phyrexian Gargantua. 4/4 for 6. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Now that's got to go too. It's like this. There's a lot of stuff in here that just doesn't fit, you know? So let's go ahead and make some edits and we'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I landed on for our updated list. I wanted to keep with the like the sacrifice, the Golgari graveyard kind of theme. But I fixed up some of the removal, gave us a few better threats, a few better answers. So here's what we're running with. So starting up top, we got 2 copies of Annihilating Glare for a single black mana and sacrificing creature or artifact, by the way. We can destroy any creature or planeswalker, so not too bad. Or if we don't have the resources, we can just pay 4 extra colorless to do the same thing. Next up, we got 4 copies of Cult Conscript and 4 copies of Death Bonnet Sprout. So I wanted to be able to make sure that we have enough things to play on turn 1. So that's why I did a full 4 on both of these. Because they both kind of fit the theme. They both give us a little bit of aggression in the early game. So that's why they're in here. Go for the Throat, I bumped that up to 3, and I gave us 2 copies of Sheldra's Edict. That's what I put in place of that other really bad removal spell. We're doing 2 copies of Tenacious Underdog. I wanted this because it's a good blitz card for when Death Bonnet Sprout or other mill effects start throwing things into the graveyard. So we're not always losing out when things are going from the top of the library into the graveyard. Next up, we have Tough Cookie. This is a new card from Wilds of Eldraine, and a pretty good one too. 2/2 for a colorless and a green. It comes into play, it gives you a food token, and it has 2 abilities. One is pay 2 and a green, target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature until end of turn. So your food tokens, blood tokens, clue tokens, any kind of like artifact token that gets generated, this can turn into a beater. So not too bad. Also, it has 2 and tap, sacrifice Tough Cookie, you gain 3 life. Because it's a food, it's a cookie, it needs to have that food sacrifice on it for theme. Next up, we have another new card from Wilds of Eldraine. It's called Back for Seconds. Now, the original deck had, what was it called? Something Reclamation, like Yerborg Reclamation, I think it was. And that one got you 2 cards back from your graveyard if you kicked it. This one does something similar, but in a different method. And I like this one a little bit more. So, for 2 and a black, with Bargain, which means you may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or a token when you cast this to get the Bargain effect. And since this deck is going to be making a lot of tokens, that's not going to be a problem. It says, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. If the spell is bargained, you may put one of those cards with mana value 4 or less onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your hand. So you get 2 back, and you choose one to put back onto the battlefield immediately. And if you take a look, you'll notice that nothing in this deck is above 4 mana. So you got your pick of the litter here. Okay, so next up, we're running a couple copies of Braids. Since we're generating so many tokens with this deck, I feel Braids has a pretty good rate of success here. So we're running 2 of her. And we're also running 2 copies of Glissa Sunslayer. Since we're in Golgari and we're kind of mid-rangey aggro, this seems like a pretty good include to me. First strike, Death Touch, 3/3 for only 3 mana. If this card didn't have any more text on it, it would already be a great card to include. But whenever Glissa Sunslayer deals combat damage to a player, choose 1. Draw a card, lose a life, destroy target enchantment, pretty strong in this meta, or remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. So that could be remove 3 counters from a battle that your opponent is defending, or remove 3 counters from a planeswalker and kill it. Remove 3 counters from something else relevant. So, very good card. And for only 3 mana, really strong. Next up, we have 2 copies of another new card, Greta, the Sweet Tooth Scourge. 1 black, green for a 3/3. When Greta Sweet Tooth Scourge enters the battlefield, create a food token for a green and sacrifice a food, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activated as a sorcery. Or for 1, a black, sacrifice a food, draw a card, lose a life. So, yeah. So she's a good thing to have around when you're playing a bunch of food tokens and food token generators, just to get a little bit of extra advantage out of it. Next up, we have a couple copies of Old Rutstein. For 3 mana, 1, a green and a black, you get a 1/4. When Old Rutstein enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If a land card is milled this way, create a treasure token. If a creature card is milled this way, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, create a blood token. So no matter what you're flipping over into your graveyard, he's going to give you some form of benefit. And it's all going to be in the form of tokens. So all of these tokens can be animated by Tough Cookie, or thrown away by Braids, or just used as they were intended. So like it's really, really solid stuff. I like Old Rutstein a lot. Then we have 2 copies of Beseech the Mirror. For 1 in triple black and a bargain, you get to search your library for any card, set it aside, face down. You do not have to reveal it. Then shuffle. If the spell was bargained, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if the spell's mana value is 4 or less. Put the exiled card into your hand if it was not cast this way. So, for 4 mana and a bargain, you get to choose any card in your deck, put it into your hand, or cast it immediately if you bargain it. So good targets for that is like the Skyfisher Spider, or go get yourself a Braids, go get yourself a Glissa, go get any kind of like removal you need at the moment. It's like your options are really open with this this card. I like Beseech the Mirror a lot. And last card is the Skyfisher Spider. 2 colorless, black and a green, 3/3 with reach. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. When Skyfisher Spider dies, you may gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. If you do, exile Skyfisher Spider from your graveyard. So it gives you an option to gain a bunch of life if you're getting pressured on, or you could just leave it in the graveyard to get back with back for seconds. So you got a little bit of synergy there. So land-wise, we got 8 swamps, 8 forests, 4 haunted mire, 4 jungle hollow, and I got rid of the pain land in favor of Restless Cottage. Restless Cottage enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it for a black or a green, or you can animate it for 2, a black and a green. Restless Cottage becomes a 4/4 black and green horror creature token horror creature, not a token, until end of turn. It's still a land. Whenever Restless Cottage attacks, create a food token and exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So it's got a little bit of built-in graveyard hate and built-in food token generation. So it fits the theme of generating tokens to be used by Tough Cookie and Braids, or by Greta, yeah. So you've got a lot of very interesting options with this deck. So let's go take it onto the ladder and see how it does. Get to 7. I feel like we need to play the jungle hollow first. Just so that we can play the Glissa on 3. I feel like that. Interesting card back. Gen Communion. Yeah. Block it and kill it. It comes back. Play my Glissa. Loaded Contaminator, huh? Let's see what happens when I attack. We'll just take it. Alright, I will. Battlefield. I don't have any counters on him. We'll draw a card and lose a life. Already. Alright, let's see. Go here. And since you're tapped out, let's get rid of that. That. There we go. Swing in. We take 2 and get 1 poison counter. Drowning Igor. Alright, it's gone. Let's see here. Let's go ahead. Wait, old Rutstein. Hopefully it flips a land. It did. Perfect. Now we play Braids. Not okay. And swing in. Sacrifice that. They chose to sacrifice their creature. So we will not be drawing a card off of Braids, unfortunately. But they will choose that they don't want to continue playing the game. Alright, so we're looking at 2 lands. Annihilating Glare, Cult Conscript, Tenacious Underdog, Braids, and Glissa. So it's got a good open. We just need to draw 1 additional land. Play the Jungle Hollow first. They're playing black-green as well. Interesting. There's that extra land. Let's play the underdog. Expecting removal. Play Boseiju. It's a Fight Night deck. Okay. Go land. Let's play. Play a Glissa, or we can Annihilating Glare. Let's go ahead and bring the Cult Conscript in, and then we'll cast Annihilating Glare. Sacrifice, we'll target that, sacrifice that. Attack for 3. To take it by another Cult Conscript. As far as sacrificial fodder goes, I like them a lot. Cult Conscripts are pretty good. There's another land, just gonna play that. Let's see here. Let's go next. Attack for 3. Gonna choose to block this time. Okay. And we will play a Glissa. Bushwhack. We're gonna search for land because they are landlocked, apparently. Did they? What? Do they not have any more basic lands in their deck? It's odd. Very odd. Anyways, let's see here. Let's go ahead. Hit next. I'm going to attack with just Glissa. Choose not to block. So we will draw a card, lose a life, finish this underdog. Let's go underdog and braids. I will choose to sacrifice my land since you're mana burn or mana locked at the moment, so you're not likely to sacrifice. And I was right. Now we got a shakedown heavy. Perfect timing. Oh, guess that's that, huh? All right, Bird Law. Now that's a great name. Love it. All right, so we got 3 lands. 2 of them come into play tapped. Cult Conscript, Go for the Throat, Glissa, and Tough Cookie. Yeah. We'll keep it. Oh, we got Swift Spear coming in. Probably gonna lose this one. All right, let's see here. We'll go Jungle Hollow. Gain that life back. Alright, Blaze Mountain, so he's into his second turn now. Invasion card here. I take 2, 4. Oh, now he's going after the invasion. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go Swamp. Go. Ugh. I have to do it now. Let's play with fire. I'm surprised he went for my face instead of going after the battle, because he was already interested in the battle. He's bloodthirsty. Okay, he's gonna use that to go after the battle. Or not. Okay, cool. Alright, in that case, let's go here. We'll go Tough Cookie. Generate a token. And we'll also play the Cult Conscript. Play a land. Go right for my face. Charming Scoundrel comes in. Put a Wicked Roll on. Oh. Okay. You're coming at me for 3 with the Bloodthirsty. Maybe choose your attacks a little bit better. Okay, he's going for my face. That's fine. I'll let that happen. Alright, land. We'll play a Glissa. We'll play a Death Bonnet Sprout. Attack with both of those. Choose to block that. I'm a little surprised as to why. Typically, a mono red deck doesn't want to sacrifice blockers like that. You know, they just want to go face, 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 face. Are you sure about that? What roll is that? Oh, it's just Wicked Roll. Yeah, that's fine. I'll block and kill that. Lose 1. Let's go and play the Haunted Mire. Get that 1 back. I'm gonna activate that right there. And we will attack with those 2. No. Cancel that. Can I choose none? I don't think I can. I don't think I can choose none. Squeebob's here. Block him. Alright. Let's get the Restless Cottage out there. Next. No attacks. End turn. Why did you concede? You had me on the ropes. Maybe they were afraid of the food tokens, I don't know. Okay, so we're back with the post-game wrap, and here are my thoughts on this deck. This deck has solid mid-game. If the game goes on too long, the power level of this deck kind of peters off a little bit. Your real meat of this deck is in turns like 3 and 4. When you're playing things like Braids, Glissa, Greta, Old Rutstein, those kind of guys. Because they're really the ones that create the value for you, get the engine going, so that, like, you can kind of get this perpetual motion machine going of Braids sacrificing for value, Tough Cookie making your tokens into 4/4s, Old Rutstein supplying you with more tokens, Greta sacrificing tokens for benefit. It's like all of those things, like, put together, it creates a pretty solid like value engine. The thing that this deck kind of lacks is endgame. Like, if you let the game go on too long, talking about, like, say, like turns like 6, 7, 8, then you can really feel the power level of this deck start to peter off. It doesn't really have a whole lot of, like, top end. The real beef in this deck is turns 1 through 3. So, like, probably the first thing I would change about this deck is 1, get more lands that come into play untapped. Secondly, probably add in maybe Sheoldred, maybe Fight Rigging, or Archfiend of the Dross. Just something a little bit more high-powered to help you punch through. Because, like I said, like, if the game goes on too long, your power starts to diminish. So, yeah, that's what I gotta say about this deck. It's got potential, but it needs further iteration. So that's it. I'll put a deck list in the comment section the description box down below. So you can give it a try if you want to, maybe even pick it up and further iterate on it yourself. And so yeah, that's it. Until next time, you take care of yourselves.